Back in 1996, I was a member of a group called the Farmers for Justice, and I was hauling grain across the border in protest to the Canadian Wheat Board. And I eventually got elected as a director. And some people say, well, you did a flip-flop. But the day I ran for election, I said, I can't go in there as a director and say I'm going to try to destroy this thing. I'm going to go in there and try to make it better. And I did at the time think that a dual market was the way to go. That the Wheat Board was so inflexible that without a dual market it was going to destroy itself. So I was a director for about a year, and I was sitting there, kind of like a little mushroom, and not real happy. And I said to the chairman and the CEO, I said, I'm not convinced about the premiums the Wheat Board earns. And the response was, well, the Wheat Board had already been, or the farmer elected directors had already been there for 2 years, and the first 2 years they spent a lot of time showing them the price comparisons. And I said, I haven't seen them. So they started bringing out price comparisons, a couple at this meeting and a couple at the next meeting, and that was okay for a number of meetings. And then I said, well, this is all well and good, but if you're going to keep doing that, I need to either you need to let me go into the file cabinet and pick the ones that we're going to see, or we need to see all of them. And they said, fine. So from then on, all of the price comparisons have been put in a book and put in the boardroom for the directors to look at, all 15 of us. And I think this is the biggest stumbling block of the Canadian Wheat Board, is that the price premiums that I saw there are what made me change my mind about the Canadian Wheat Board and whether dual marketing was the solution to the problem or not. And I can't share those numbers with you, because they're confidential. Even sales that we made of oats, 30 years ago, we're still doing business with that customer. There was a contract in place at the time, and there's a respect of that customer and respect of the confidentiality of the agreement. But I'm sure that Ward showed you some of the numbers, the kind of numbers that we see as directors at every board meeting. I don't know how it would be possible. Personally, I'd be willing to pull out the big guns right now and start, putting up on the screen the price comparisons that I see at the board meetings. I don't think Ward will do that for me. But that's the reason I changed my mind about the Canadian Wheat Board. It's the price premiums. And I was visiting with a neighbor the other day, and he said, I don't think the Wheat Board earned me enough for the premium, or for the protein premium on my wheat last year. And I'm trying to think, what I should have said to him, and I didn't. That I see these price comparisons, and I see how we allocate sales to different countries around the world, and I think that we garnered the maximum value for that total pile of grain in our marketing. And I disagree with Frank. We don't promise to do better next year. We do our best every single year, and that's not to say that one individual out there, or 2 or 10 or 20 or 200, couldn't do better than we do on a spot sale on any given day. But most of these price comparisons are against the U.S. market, and the U.S. is not our biggest customer. And sure, you might be able to push some grain into the United States. I'll just tell you a little anecdote here, and I hope I'm not taking too much time. When I was hauling across the border, I was feeling one day kind of being hassled by the U.S. Customs, and I was looking to this lady who was sitting behind a desk, and kind of feeling kind of downtrodden. And she glared back at me and she says, my husband and I farm, and we hate what you're doing. So hauling across the U.S. border, that's a non-starter. First off, you're going to drive the premiums on the market. Secondly, drive the premiums out of the market. Secondly, you're going to erase the identity of the Canadian wheat. It's going to become commingled with U.S. wheat, which is a lower quality. And they're probably going to shut the border down. And then you're going to have to compete in Indonesia instead of the United States.